today you were active defensively? How come today you were willing to chase? How come today you were pressing people? So you're capable of doing it. You just choose to do it whenever you want to. That is damning evidence. So while you may shape this, K, as a positive for Kylian Mbappe, I shape it as, so there's more to give from Kylian Mbappe if you're a Real Madrid fan. This is closer to what you think you were getting. A player scoring a big goal in a big game and being active over the course of the 45 minutes that he was in the second half, and then the extra 30 minutes. That should be the expectation. That should be the standard, and he shouldn't drop from there. When he drops from there, that's when we get critical of Kylian Mbappe, because we know his best is better than most. His best is better than most in the world. So it's noticeable when he's not playing at his best.
And with that in mind, Sid, as we get the final thoughts from you guys at the side of the pitch today, what does it do going forward for these two teams? Because there is season left still to play in La Liga, and there is, of course, that other Clásico still to come.
Yeah, and that Clásico does mean, of course, that the league title race is not necessarily run. Barcelona have a 4-point lead. If Real Madrid were to win that Clásico, it'd be 1 point. Now, not necessarily, because they've both got one more game before that. There's Valladolid and Celta de Vigo to come. Harder for Real Madrid than for Barcelona to play Celta than it is to play Valladolid. But then the 3 games after the Clásico, I think, are slightly easier for Real Madrid than Barcelona. So if Madrid were able to come out of that Clásico with a point as the gap, I think they will believe that there's a chance to win the league. That said, I think tonight damages that. I think had they won tonight, they would think to themselves, not just, hey, we feel stronger, but Barcelona will start having doubts now.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think for the way that Real Madrid sort of reacted in that second half, I think you can take something away from it, and I don't think you'll necessarily talk about it out in the open to the press, because that's not necessarily the culture of Real Madrid to accept finishing second or to lose in a final. But they've gone toe-to-toe and they've seen that they've made Barcelona suffer, and I think in reality, when that game does come up, as far as from what I can see, like, the Madrid DNA is not to believe that things are done until they're done. You know, they'll have a belief that they can do it. They'll be watching Barcelona's games, obviously, but they believe they can win that Clásico, and they've had more magical moments than what we could even expect to see between now and the end of the season. So yes, it's a big blow for them today. For Barca, it's a big lift to be able to hold that trophy up, but this is never over with Real Madrid, especially domestically.
So Nadim, you're in one of the most beautiful cities in Spain, sunny Sevilla. It's Sunday tomorrow. What have you got planned?
I'm going to try my best to go to the airport. I've got a 7 a.m. flight, and I'm going to appear somewhere else in the ESPN multiverse. Tell me where.
As Kay well knows, there is only one. As Kay well knows, there is only one plan at this point, isn't there, Kay? It is 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Nadim's got a 7 o'clock flight. You know what this means, don't you? This means you've got to go through the night. There is no point in even trying to sleep now.
You're a bad influence. I have no intention of doing that.
An all-nighter. Look at Sidlow. What a bad influence he is. Luis Garcia's done an all-nighter for us as well.
Yes, he has.
Look at that.
Yeah. We've actually seen from darkness, from night, to actually the dawn and the new morning with Luis Garcia.
Look at that.
All-nighters are plenty here on ESPN FC, and you will be seeing Nadim's lovely face tomorrow on our FA Cup coverage as well. Never mind Barcelona not getting a rest ahead of that Inter game. Nadim straight back into it. Thank you so much, guys, for all being with us. We've got more Spanish football on the way. May 4th, Real Madrid back in action against Celta Vigo. Barcelona also on the Saturday against Real Valladolid. All of these games available on ESPN+. But as mentioned, FA Cup semi-finals tomorrow coming off between Forest and City. Today, we got to see Crystal Palace against Aston Villa. Here's Dan and the boys to recap it all.
Thank you very much, Kay. Time to see some legs. These are mine. Those are Kieran's. Those are Shaka's. Crystal Palace then one step closer to even achieving something they have never done in the history of the club, and that is to win the FA Cup title. An incredible performance today from Class, the side thoroughly deserving a place in the final. Alexis got some reaction from after the game.
For you, in your opinion, what was the difference between the two sides?
I think they were more concentrated, more focused than us. I think in the beginning, both teams were a bit, on edge, and we're playing it safe. And I think for most parts of the game, we had control of the game. But, we know how dangerous they were on counter-attacks. And, we left ourselves open in the first half to be able to get countered. And we know that they're, dominant when it comes on to counter. And they took their chance. And made it difficult for us in the beginning.
What were some of the areas that you guys were looking to exploit today, and how you feel you did?
We were looking to exploit their high line. They're really good with the ball, but if we can nick the ball off them every once in a while, we figured that we'd play the ball in behind because we have some fast guys up front. So I got to think we executed our game plan pretty well, and I think that's why we won today.
And I mean, I just spoke to Leon Bailey from Aston Villa as well, and he said that one of the things that separated the two teams, that you guys definitely know what it's like to defend and hold that line for a long time, and that showed today. When it was you at the back soaking up all that pressure, what was the plan? What were you guys saying to each other as the minutes were ticking away?
Just 10 more minutes, and I think we said it 10 times today. So again, I think we like to defend. I think that's something that a lot of teams don't like to do. But I think we held our line. We tried to clear everything that came, and I think the shutout was deserved today.
And finally, I have to ask you about Ebe Richie Eze's goal, because oh my days, the absolute audacity to try that from outside the box again. But it's typical of him, isn't it? What a special player.
If you know Ebbs, is not really that audacious. He's done some way crazier things. But we really appreciate Ebbs. Like you said, it was a banger. So hopefully we have a few more of those in the final, and hopefully we can lift the trophy.
Welcome in Julien Laurent, pitch side for us. Jules, I tell you what, Palace thoroughly deserved that.
Yeah, completely. I mean, they were outstanding from start to finish. We said before the game, didn't we, the back five of Palace, Villa usually struggled this season to play against that back five with the ball, without the ball, and it was the case tonight. Then Villa never really found the solution. Emery never found the solution either. And Glasner on the other side had all his game plan really spot on again, but with Palace what they're going to do. So I was really disappointed by Unai Emery's game decision during the match to start with, and a tactical decision, but also at the start of the game, nothing really that he tried was working. But for Palace, so great afternoon. The fans are amazing. Eze, Mateta, Lacroix at the back was outstanding. And what about Wharton? The kid's just come back from injury not that long ago. He bossed that midfield today.
3-0 almost compliments Villa. But Palace could have got more here, and they were so dominant today.
They outclassed Villa in every department from the beginning of the game. We said that they were going to be favourites, Villa, from the beginning. But the way that Crystal Palace dismantled Villa, soaked up all of the pressure that they had to offer, and they picked their moments brilliantly defensively. They got their distances right, and as soon as it was that time to pounce and win the ball back in the middle of the field, they did it brilliantly. And then they were just clinical at the other end. An absolutely outstanding performance from Crystal Palace.
I thought, to Jules' point, that you kind of know what Crystal Palace are going to do. Well, that's taken absolutely correctly. Mateta is just too good, too strong physically for Aston Villa. Eze, how do you play against Eze? He plays like he's on the playground, and you're never quite sure what's going to come from him other than it's going to be really, really good. So how do you set up a game plan for those two? I thought, and then to Kieran's point, I thought Palace defended wonderfully well. And then you saw from Palace high pressure in midfield, won the ball back, couple of opportunities that created really good chances for Crystal Palace that somehow Aston Villa just weren't able to cope with. Weren't able to cope with the pressure in midfield when it came. Weren't able to cope with the ball into the channels over the top for Mateta. Weren't able to cope with just the brilliance of an Eze. And as a result, Crystal Palace won comfortably, deservedly. And you're right, this quite easily could have been 6.
Jules, where was that spark from Villa? We were talking about the fact that they'd had 24 hours extra to prepare. They just seemed flat right from the off today.
Yeah, I really believe the game plan was wrong. We said it at half-time. When you play against Palace and that back five,